Hey, welcome back, everyone. I hope you're all doing amazing today, and I hope you enjoy your weekend. Apologies that the video is coming late today. I have been quite busy, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. While we get up for a few other things, I would like to kind of just share a quick note with us about the current conflict in the Middle East. I think things are slowing down gradually since the 2 minute war, all right, that Donald Trump and his allies, you understand, thought the whole debacle in the Middle East is going to be. However, it turned out that it's going to be quite deeper. And this today is like the 10th day, I guess, between the ninth or the 10th day. And so far, everything seems to have died down. Donald Trump has kind of like toned its bragado and, every single thing down, literally. And because of that, we are seeing some very interesting some of events in the market. We can see the stock market is back up. Let's take this away a little bit. All right, we can see that. Let me change this to the main chart. All right, let's change this to the main chart so we can see. We can check the stock market as well. Okay, and we can better update the. We can understand the update over there. So where are the indices? DAX is still pretty down, right? I think I'll be jumping in on DAX soon. And also we have Hong Kong 50. I mean Nikkei. Nikkei is quite crazy today, right? You can see the jump to the upside. However, as far as Nikkei is concerned, I would in fact be looking for another leg to the downside, right? I think we should just take a little bit you should take a look at the indices market. I will also be waiting for another leg to the downside, something like ABC, to kind of complete this triple zigzag pattern. You understand what I'm saying? All right, we have what we can call ABC. All right, this is W. We have ABC, this is X, right? Then we have ABC, this is our Y. Then we have another X. So this is going to be ABC, this is going to be our Z, right? We have W, X, Y, I mean W, X, Y, X, Z. Okay, so potentially, right, we can actually expect Nikkei to come back to 48,000 region before we can look for buy opportunity, provided that this is a what? The triple zigzag pattern. Okay, if this is the double zigzag pattern, I would say that we've already missed our entry right here. However, we could still look for maybe a pullback to this particular region to look for buy, provided that this is a double zigzag pattern. But in my personal opinion, I would in fact want to see Nikkei below here for me to look for buy opportunity all the way to the upside. All right. And when you take a look at the edge finder right here, where is the asset code? I think that needs to load up a little. So let's give it some time. We're going to come back there. All right, and I'm not having the best internet reception today, so that is also a challenge, right? But let's see how that goes. Let's hope that the internet is gonna favor today, right? So I think it did. It does. This is it. So let's take a look at few indices. The market is taking its turn. I mean, this was not my plan, right? I was gonna talk about the forex and then we jump straight into the rest, but I figured, let's just follow the. So this is Nikkei right here. Nikkei is pretty flat on the Edge Finder asset scorecard, right? Nikkei is pretty flat. You can see on the daily, you can see the technicals, but I'm not really interested in the technicals. I want to look at the fundamentals. And on the fundamental front, it's not looking very, very impressive enough for me to jump into it. So that would probably be the reason why I'm not going to be taking the buy right now. But yet again, don't forget what I said. Back to the 4 hour time frame. If this is a double zigzag pattern, all right, there are few ways we can join this particular trade. Considering that this is a double zigzag, we've already missed the first entry right here. So maybe the cross above here, a pullback, we can look for buy opportunity because this is going to be a very long run to like 65K in the future, right? Or maybe we're going to get the last leg to the downside if it's a triple zigzag pattern. And if that's not the case, right, The other entry would be maybe a retest of this particular region, right? A retest right here, then we look for buy opportunity. I'm going to be sharing these in the Discord server, so you might want to be part of it by checking through the link in the description below. As far as Hong Kong 50 is concerned, I think this one still looks viable in my personal opinion. All right, it is back to where I've always want to have it. Okay, I've always loved to see it back around that region where it is right now. Okay, this particular place right here. Okay, that is where I've always wanted to see this particular Hong Kong 50, right? Shang. So it looks pretty good for an entry right now. As a matter of fact, potentially after the end of the call, I'm gonna be joining this particular trade. All right, it looks good. It's back to a very good what's it called again? Demand zone, right? Although we have few other zones at the bottom that have never been retested, but right here, it's decent enough. Unless we're gonna get another deeper leg to the downside, which will be leaning or be approaching truncation level that nobody really wants to see. All right. So that said, I would be looking to buy Hong Kong 50 for sure. What else can I share? Fibonacci. Does Fibonacci really make sense here? Let's take a look at it. White. These are low. Back to the stop right here. All right. So when it comes to Fibonacci, it does not really cut it. All right. I mean, provided that we are taking our bottom from right here and the top, right at the top here, okay, starting from here to this region, it does not cut it, right? So let's take a look at the extension. Okay, so we have here, and then we have here. Let me make it color white so it can be obvious. No, that's not what I was looking forward to use. We have here, here, and right here. Okay, if we're gonna be targets, our target is gonna be right around here though. So a buy here, it's not bad. However, I'll argue that potentially we can still see uh Hong Kong 50 back at zero point 0.5 Fibonacci or even 61.8. All right, 0.618 right at this region for us to look for buy. But based on extension, we're going to be targeting 30K potentially. All right there. So, but I will chip in right now, maybe small entry, and then if we get a better dip, I will be jumping to it. Now let's talk a little bit about Nasdaq as well. As far as Nasdaq is concerned, Nasdaq is back. It came back here, but again, it's because of the slow and the braggadocious of Donald Trump that seems to have gone down, and few updates from usually intelligence agency coming out. Okay, we need to find a way to stop this war right now. It's going too long. All right, it is not serving anybody any purpose again. Right, it was meant to be a quick fix, change a few things, push things around, and then we are done. But now today is the 10th day. Okay, and it can be 9 or 10 day. I don't really know. All right, so moving on. Anyways, the war is pretty much still pretty hot, right? Because we saw what happened to WTI today. I mean, when the market just gapped up crazily, and we know the reason to that because United States with Israel, they kind of bombed the Iranian oil well, right? One of their biggest uh, oil refinery, and the place is literally covered with like a black cloud right now. So that's pretty ridiculous and weird, alright, and also pretty much unfair. I don't know, you don't know how to feel. But at the end of the day, it's still pretty not cool, right? But that effect kind of like jumped into the market and it was quite sporadic as we saw the effect. And we're going to talk about that later. But overall, the reason I'm talking about the stock market is because the effect of the war really impacted the stock market the most. And we also saw the effect on the dollar itself, right? Since the market broke out of this particular region, okay, we've seen the market actually jump right up without an actual pullback. And since then, it's been trapped right inside this particular range. Very ridiculous, right? I mean, we can see it. So it's been very, very boring war, right? It is not a war that should have been in the first place. Diplomatic conversation should have been the way to go as human, right? As people, there should be a way we should be able to talk to each other and come to terms, right? Before the war should be the last resort. And I think everything was pretty cool. And I don't really see the reason for the war, right? Everything was quite cool until it stopped being cool after the preemptive attack. But anyways, I'm not a geopolitics analyst or whatnot. So, but if I'm gonna be emotional, and as human, I'm allowed to be emotional about stuff like this, I think it doesn't really make sense, right? But anyways, I will leave the rest to people that know better about geopolitics than me to figure this shit out. Anyways, sorry for the language. Moving on, DXY, right? DXY. But before we talk about DXY, let's take a look at the data we have this week. So this week we have few inflationary data and few labor data. On Friday we have GDP month on month in the United Kingdom. Then we have labor data in Canada, right? We have the unemployment rate and the employment change. And on Friday as well in the United States we have the core PCE, we have the preliminary quarterly GDP in the United States also kind of factored, or it's forecasted to come pretty much as the same. And then we have the JOLT job opening. This one didn't come last week, even though NFP came. And we're expecting a pretty higher JOLT job opening. I'm not sure how this is it because companies are pretty much firing people. We read about Jack Dorsey, the previous Twitter or X owner, that fired like 4,000 of his worker, replaced all of them with AI. Same thing happened to Microsoft. We heard about Amazon also laying few of their staffs off. So literally, if there is a job opening, where is the open? Like, where is the open? Because the companies are rather laying people off. So I don't know where the job is open, but I hope they find it, right? Moving on. On Thursday, as usual, we have the initial jobless claim in the United States. It's also expected to come pretty much as the same. Nothing to see there. But if anything changes, you might want to look into it. On Wednesday, we have the actual big data, which is the core CPI, the inflationary data in the United States is coming out. We have the CPI month on month, we have the CPI year on year, and we have the core CPI. And they're all expected to come pretty hotter than previous. The core CPI is expected to come lower, which is weird, considering where the what's it called again, the oil market is right now. I'm expecting a alter inflationary data, but we shall see. CPI month on month is expected to come 1% above previous, and the same thing goes to CPI year on year is expected to come 0.1% above previous, right? So 0.1%, 0.1%, we see how that goes. Okay. But core CPI month on month is expected to come lower, which is quite disturbing. Right. But we shall see. Tuesday and Monday, we are pretty flat, so that's fair. I mean, today is Monday, by the way, so tomorrow is quite free. So if you want to scalp, if you want to day trade, I want to give it a shot. Right here, cancel. Right here on Edge Finder Top Setup, we have few pairs or few instruments that still looks pretty interesting enough, and it looks tradable, right? So, I would say I don't know about Aussie Kiwi long. I'm not sure about that, but Aussie Yen, you get a buy entry take. Aussie Swiss, I'm not sure about that either, right? I'm not comfortable buying Aussie Swiss where it is right now without any kind of corrective waves. I'm not sure I'll be jumping to it. Aussie card, we saw some drops, so that might be something you might want to look into. I will share a few updates on it later as time goes on. Dollar yen, I will not be buying dollar yen at all. I will instead be looking to short dollar yen, to be honest with you. And I will share a few updates on that as well. Aussie dollar. Okay, this is AU, right? The currency itself is very strong. Okay, Australian dollar itself, AUD, is quite strong as a currency. We're not talking about currency pair now. Australian dollar as a currency is quite strong in and of itself, right? Swiss yen, yes, you can look to buy Swiss yen in a way. All right, on Hong 50 right here, I will not be selling that guy, but don't forget what I said earlier. I'll be looking for another leg lower to take a buy. So Dow Jones, I will not be selling. Instead, I will be looking for another leg lower to look for buy on Dow Jones. Silver, yeah, I shared this in the signal. I mean, in our community earlier today. I'm not sure how I feel about silver, but buying silver right now seems very tricky. Okay, but I will watch out very closely. But I will not be buying yet. Okay, pound dollar. I'll be looking to buy. I'm currently in a buy trade, honestly, so I will not be selling. All right, US 10 yields. I'm not interested in this. EURUSD and POUND I'm not pretty much interested in any of that. So that's that. But that's more like everything we have today. All right, on the economic or the fundamental front, in my personal opinion. All right, so all of that said, I think it's about time to jump straight into the technical front fully. So now we're talking about dollar earlier, and I said since the war broke out, okay, we've seen a very unsolicited and strange behavior in the price of the dollar as per the breakout of this particular trend line and the insistent rally from there. Okay, the market just rallied to the upside from here. All right, it just went up. That was uncalled for, but it was expected because while the oil market is going to the moon, right? I mean, European countries, part of Eastern Asian countries like Indonesia, Philippines, all right, they are looking to buy dollars so they can transact with maybe China or Russia to buy some energies, right? Since the Strait of Hormuz is also shut down. So that is quite tricky, right? So that is more like the reason why we got this particular pump in the price of the dollar. And that was quite weird again, because I mean, the United States spent roughly $1 billion, right, per day to finance this war, right? $1 billion per day. And on the ninth day, they spent close to $9.01 billion per day. So that is what? That is very, very much. All right. That means the debt cap is going to skyrocket. And also, don't forget, Donald Trump just completed a fight with the Supreme Court, right? They asked him to refund all the tariffs money that he has collected. So that one alone is also very tricky. Okay. So Donald Trump is not having the best second year of his tenure for sure. Right. He has the Congress to deal with. He has, the file to figure out. He has the new war that he just get himself involved in. And then he also have the tariffs debacle with the Supreme Court. So he's not having the best second year. I'm talking about last year was fun. Liberation Day, Make America Great Again. Everyone was happy, right? And then this year, files came out, war came out. Supreme Court said they are not buying the tariff drama, and since then, boom, 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 everything was just happening like back to back. So, anyways, moving on. So, in my personal opinion, dollar right here is not something I really want to meddle with. It's not something I want to mess around with. But if I'm gonna look into this on a technical perspective, I would say that number one, we have two play right here. Okay, a two potential play. We can see dollar coming back to this region at the bottom here. Okay, so that means we can see dollar coming back here. Okay, and that will be the pause. Okay, at this 97 region, that will be a very good pause, 97.60. All right, that will be a very good pause because we have higher high. Excuse me for that. We have higher high, higher low, higher high. So maybe we're gonna get a corrective move to this region at 97.60, and that, like I said, is gonna be a pause because whatever happened from there will determine how to approach the dollar moving forward. Okay, we also have a region right here, okay, a key zone. In fact, we have resistance, and potentially right here again around that 98.40 region could be another place for a pause. So a pause here and a pause here. These are the two regions where buyers actually have a chance to ride dollar all the way back to the upside. Okay, from this particular region at 98.40, we can see dollar gaining some strength and go back to the upside. From 97.60, we can as well see dollar gaining some strength, going back to the upside. However, anything that makes the dollar break below there, below 97.60, that means the dollar is going to be dropping all the way down to 95.55 or 94.65. That is my take on the dollar right now. So two regions, right? Right here and right here. Dollar tap into this region, bounce to the upside, very good to go. Dollar make a deeper dip, right, and fall to 97.60, bounce to the upside. That is super cool. Anything that makes it break below 97.60, right, that means dollar is going to make a very strong bearish move, and that is not something anybody really want to show that right now. So that is just how I'm positioned, and that's how I see dollar for now. But overall, I think dollar still has a very big move to the downside. Okay, because overall you can see what we have since Donald Trump took control of the White House. Right, the market has been very bearish. Right, very bearish. So maybe 95.55 is still very much it's still very much active, okay, for a sell opportunity. So keep a close tab on that, guys. Okay, watch out very closely. And yes, that's all I have for you on the dollar index. Card yen, I'm still holding my buy on card yen. I'm currently trading my stop around here. Right. I wouldn't mind getting out of this trade. Okay, I've already seen 1:3 at the top here. But who knows, right? Who knows? But if I'm taking out here, that will be 1:3.6. I'm 1:2.6, and I'm good to go. Okay, I really don't mind getting out of it right there. Okay, dollar card. I'm shorting dollar card, and so far so good. It looks super cool. All right, we already adjusted my stop loss to break even because the trade actually came all the way down to 1.1.2. I mean 1:1.2 already. So we've been able to lock break even. So if the market open tomorrow and we see a very nice dip, that would make a very good sense. If the market retraces back to entry level, that will also make a good sense because I'll still be selling again, right? After I'm taking out, I will look for short, maybe at the more, at the more cheaper level around here. I wouldn't mind selling again. It's a sell for me on USDCAD. And NZD dollar, I'm holding a buy trade. Okay, it's quite decent, right? I had the same setup on Aussie dollar, but Aussie dollar didn't really make a merge. Didn't really make a good sense. Okay, I believe I shared it in our Discord server. But anyways, I'm currently holding a buy on NZD dollar. It looks super super cool in my personal opinion. All right, rally deep, rally deep, rally, right? Just higher highs and higher low, the simple stuff doesn't get complicated. And we see more or less a zigzag pattern, okay, A, B, C, okay, just the simple stuff, okay. And the market is going back up right now. Maybe we're gonna get a five wave to the upside, a five wave motive, and maybe we're gonna get a corrective wave back because overall, when you take this to the weekly time frame, this is a bearish trend. All right, let's not get it twisted. It's a bearish trend. We are only trading the wave C, okay, of this corrective wave. Okay, we have A, B. I mean, sorry, A, B. Okay, maybe we're gonna get a double zigzag pattern on this one. Maybe around here, then we can now look for short opportunity. All right, from the top here. So maybe a double wave. Okay, I mean a double zigzag wave B C. All right. Then this is our X right here. All right. Then we have another A B C. Back to this zone, right? Then we can now look for short opportunity. But overall, this is where I'm only buying into this corrective wave. Okay, so once the market reach the time for it to, when we get our C, all right, at the top here, our C and Y, okay, then we can now look for a short opportunity moving forward on into the dollar. But overall, in my personal opinion right now, a buy still looks very good, at least targeting this particular region at the top here. All right, top here and back into the zone. And that would be very interesting in my personal opinion. All right, so that's that. Dollar Swiss, I think I was shorting Dollar Swiss as well. Yes, I'm shorting Dollar Swiss. It looks good, right? I didn't share this in the signal in the server because I mean it didn't really come to terms fully. But it kind of like just makes sense. I didn't get the last trick when it comes to my entry plan. I didn't get the full entry plan, but it looks good. Okay, I still think we can get another leg to the upside around here. Then the market will now start dropping. So that one I might actually share. But right now the trade looks good. So see how that goes. I'm also shorting Bitcoin, but I'm already trailing it. Okay. Again, this is also not the one that kind of come to full terms. Right, my short entry was actually between 79K, 75K, and potentially maybe 81K. Okay, something like that. That's where I was actually looking to in fact short Bitcoin. But when it came to this region at 73,000 or 74K, I got a very good entry, and I saw a very decent candlestick pattern on the 4 hour time frame, stroke 2 hour time frame. I figured, let me just join. Okay. There was also another impulsive entry, didn't really get a full entry plan. There's a better entry on Ethereum than Bitcoin though, when it comes to the short. But I figured, let me just take a shot. They are all very, very small, tiny risk trade because they are not fully my setup. So I just dazzled into it. Nothing fully really doesn't really make good sense in that particular way. Like it makes good sense, as you can see, I'm making money from it, but like my entry did not really come to terms like that. You get what I'm saying? So let's come to silver. Silver is jumping up, right? But I'm not gonna get trapped into this because the the geopolitics is still pretty hot, and we can see gold also kind of like correcting back to the upside slowly. Okay. I took multiple buys here, but I don't like this trappy move. So potentially you can see the market is still currently ranging right inside this box here. Okay, this is a very decent range, and I am not in the business of a range bound. Okay, considering what we've seen in the price of gold lately, this is not something I really want to trap myself into. So maybe get a retest of 52.10, right, and then the market drop back down, and then maybe get a better deep to 78, 4800, 4950. Then we can look for buy on gold. But if you also break above there, pull back nicely, it's still within this catch, right? Still within this particular move, which is still more like a range to me, right? It's still more like a range to me. I don't really like it. But anyways, I'm not sure if I'll be taking this buy, but we'll look into it. Right, we'll look into it. So as time goes on, we shall see. Maybe tomorrow or Friday, before Friday, something will actually play out on gold. But right now, I'm not super comfortable buying it nor selling it. However, silver on the other end, I think this actually have a better chance of dropping. Honestly, it has a better chance of dropping, and then maybe we get it all the way back to the upside moving forward. Okay, so back to that region right here at $71 to maybe let's say 71 to $72. As a matter of fact, we also have $70. All right, these zones, okay, 70, 71, 72 zones right here. That'll be where I'll be looking to buy silver back to, 110, 115, or even 135. Don't forget Bank of America. The Bank of America, their forecast for this year is 209 to 315. Okay, for silver. Let's not forget that. Okay, 315 to 209. So we might in fact get silver closing around this region. It's still March. All right, very early in March. The year we still have like 10 months more in this year. So there is a lot of play. This is not the time to blow your account because you're trying to force a trade. Okay, the market is still going to give us a very clear move just like this. Okay, on silver, on gold, on your favorite currency pairs. So just relax your mind. Okay, don't force anything. Let the market play itself out, and you will join at a very good place. You'll make your profit and you will enjoy. You'll be happy, right? So now is not the time to force anything. So that was just my advice to you. GJ, I took a buy on GJ as well. This one actually looks better on the 4 hour time frame. Got a very good entry plan. Okay, there's a better divergence here. The market makes a very, very good sense. Also, there's a better divergence at the bottom here as well. So we got a punch to the upside, a push to the downside. It's the exact kind of pattern. We get this entry right there. So potentially we can get a fresh high on GJ. In my personal opinion, looks super cool. Right. So if you want to join this, I'm not sure how you plan to join it, but I would not advise it unless we get a push to the downside like this. Maybe back to this region, then you can look for buy on GJ. In my personal opinion. Don't forget, it was actually on a call like this. I think last week I said I will be looking for buy on GJ, and so far so good. It doesn't look awful. It looks super cool. All right, so what do I want to talk about? So I want to talk about AUSDCAD. I was kind of like playing around with the short on AUSDCAD. Don't forget I was talking about this ending diagonal pattern on AUSDCAD. And so far, right here, we got a break of this trend line, we got it retested, and the market make a very good move to the downside. But yet again, this might just be a corrective move. Okay, this might just be a corrective move right here, and the market is going back to the upside. Don't forget what we saw on Edge Finder. The market, AUDUSD is still very much bullish, right? It's very much bullish. I didn't really take it, honestly. I did not touch it because it didn't really suit my full plan, and I want to recuse myself from taking counter trend trade this year. Okay, it didn't really make sense that much. Sometimes the work is around 60, it's around 35 to 45% win rate. Okay, and doesn't really suit into my risk management approach for the year. So I want to avoid taking counter trend trade, but the full trend kind of set up. Yeah, that's where I want to find myself. So again, if you take a look at this, the market retested this particular support here. All right, tap into this demand zone, and the market just make a rebound from there. Very decent. Okay, I'm not sure I'm gonna call a buy here or here. I would say we get a pullback. All right, maybe. But Aussie card is not a pair that I love to trade at all. So that's that on that. Ethereum, yeah. This is the one I said it makes a better sense because I got it divergence. I think it's on the daily time frame. Sure, maybe on the 2 hour time frame. Hmm. Any divergence there? Yeah, something like that. We got a divergence right here, something like this. Okay. Yeah, something like that. It was a good one, but I did not take this one at all. I took its fellow brother. That was Bitcoin. That was the one I took. So that's that one. Ethereum, nothing really good on that one. Brent and crude oil, oof, it came down like very well expected, but this is not the end. Okay, these guys are still going to bounce up hard. Okay, whether the war is over or not, these guys are still going to jump up. Like I said again, I mean, Trump saw the price of oil at 115. Where is WTI? Saw it open at 115, 110, right? The PMS is already expensive everywhere around the globe, even in Nigeria. That there's no war anywhere, and we have oil well, we have refinery. WTI, PMS is too expensive, right? So, I mean, it's just weird everywhere. So, that is just another reason why I guess Trump really cannot sustain, uh, should not, okay, I don't want to use can not, should not really spend too much time on this war. Okay, it doesn't, nobody wins. Okay, it doesn't make sense for anybody. My opinion though. Okay, and don't forget again, I'm not a geopolitics analyst or whatever, but I don't think it favors anybody. Not United States, not global market, anyways. Anyways, it is well. Moving on. So that's just my take on the BTI. I think there's a possibility. We have a gap here, and not all gaps get filled for sure, but this one is already filled. So maybe market is gonna come back down here around that 67, then we get another rally to the upside. That's fun. But I didn't see this coming. I got close out here, right, with trailing stop, but I did not see. Oh boy, I closed my trade and the market jumped up. It was very painful. But anyway, it's all good. Okay, it's all goody goody. So, copper, anything? Ooh, copper. Come on, man. I missed out very well today, and it's quite painful. I'm not gonna lie. I really do miss out. Like this is a very good buy on copper. Like and very beautiful buy. Okay, everything ticks. I've been watching this for a very long time. But anyways, I will watch again. That's what I cannot buy right there again. If I'm gonna buy, this is my entry, or maybe here. All right, right inside this circle. I don't like buying at the TP bottom because I like to see a candlestick pattern entry. Okay, rejection candlestick on the 4 hour time frame. All right. But right here, that is mid-range entry. That's stupid. Okay. I would not want to do that to myself. So, anyways, I guess I missed out on copper then. Shall see. Tomorrow, next tomorrow. I mean, the week is just getting started. So there's so much play that we don't even know yet. Okay. That it hasn't even crossed our mind yet. So let's just chill out. All right. The market is gonna open. It's gonna open itself up for us, and we're gonna make good money. So, but we have to be patient. On that note, that's where I'm gonna be stopping today. I'll see you in the server, the community, on WhatsApp, wherever we talk. But please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to join the community. See you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye for now.